Hey, hello. I just wanted to give a quick demo of my little gravity simulator that I created. Um, so I was reading uh, this book, The Three Body Problem, and it talks about this our closest star system, Alpha Centauri, having three stars and how they rotate around each other, and it creates this unstable, chaotic orbit that can't be predicted. And I thought that was so cool, and I decided, ooh, I want to simulate stars or planets or whatever moving around each other in gravity. So here we go. When you first launch it, it just randomly creates two bodies. It gives them a little bit of velocity and puts them in random spots. And sometimes what that does is it creates a stable orbit, like you see here. So here we have two bodies kind of orbiting around each other. The red is the center and is also the center of mass here. So if I reset, it doesn't always create a stable orbit. So in this situation, um, as you can see, that body got too close and kind of shot off. Now, eventually it'll come back and you can zoom out and see it's kind of going away, but we're not going to wait for that. So, um, and even when it does come back, it'll just shoot out even farther. So this is what I'll call an unstable orbit. Um, here's another one where it started off a couple and then it eventually got unstable. But I'm going to just keep resetting them and we could see what kind of interesting ones we get. Oh, here's another stable one, kind of similar to the one we had before. I'm going to try to get something more interesting. Here, it's trying a little bit, but then eventually it becomes unstable and then they separate again in opposite directions. So these are basically the patterns you get with two. So I'd say, what it looks like about a quarter or less of them are these stable ones. This one would eventually be stable, but it's just going to take too long to get there. I want to get one more stable one. Oh, this one's interesting. I like the ones that are close to being stable, creates these cool patterns, but then eventually they separate. This one will be another stable one. Cool. Okay, so there you have two. So now let me switch to three, and that's where things get interesting. If we switch to three, um, then they are basically never stable. It always becomes chaotic. Let me speed this up a bit. Um, at best, what happens is one goes off in one direction and then the other two go off together. But often, even more often, is that the three of them separate into totally different directions. Um, here you have one more massive one, and then that one got flinged out, and soon that one will get flinged out. But they never stay together for really any length of time. The best you could do is this, what I'm describing. So one of them shut out in this direction, and this is creating these two are kind of stable together, but the three altogether basically are never stable unless we perfectly set them up ahead of time. So kind of interesting patterns to look at, but this is, yeah, three bodies are always chaotic. In fact, can't really be calculated, which I find interesting. So I just love to play around and watch these. So the next thing I wanted to do is see some orbits uh, of actual systems in our solar system. So we have the Earth and the Moon, just because it was fun to see, how small uh, the Moon is compared to the Earth, and also how far away it is. So let me slow this down and take off the trails here. And if you zoom in, you can really see the Moon is just this tiny little dot. The other thing that's neat is the Earth is not staying put, it's actually orbiting around the center of mass between the two of them, which is just under the Earth's crust here, but it does wobble, and that's actually what happens. So this is to scale. Um, Pluto and Charon are a little bit different, where Charon is Pluto's largest moon, and it's a pretty good size compared to Pluto, and as a result, the center of mass is outside of Pluto. So some actually call this a binary planet system rather than a planet and a moon. So that's kind of neat. But my favorite of all is the solar system simulation. So when I put this on, it's going to create a sun at the center and 1,000 little asteroids going around it. And one thing that's different is when they fly into each other, they actually are going to merge. See, I have merge on. So what that means is it starts off with 1,000 bodies, and then there's fewer and fewer as they run into each other and get bigger and bigger. And eventually, if I let this stay for a long time, we'll get down to just a handful of planets instead of asteroids, right? So they'll get bigger and bigger. And the other thing that's interesting, if I put on these trails here, is near the center, this kind of slows it down because it's calculating so many different things here. You have more circular orbits, but if you zoom out, you get these more eccentric orbits. And I think of those as like, the comets and things like that. But anyway, this is the little gravity simulator I made, so thought I'd give a quick demo for it.